Now, you guys are going to see a couple of the craziest plays I've made in a while. And I say this all the time, you know, when I'm playing, if I feel like somebody's weak, I'm going to put the pedal to the metal and I'm going to get them off their hand. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but you know what? I live with those decisions. I also want to say this. It's going to run for about 15 to 20 minutes, so I want you guys to kind of like sit back, grab a bottle of water, some Gatorade, maybe some coffee. And I'm going to go over some of the different situations in this one. I'm also going to say this one time. If you're not in our community yet, man, it is time to get in it. You talk with me one-on-one as well as some other high-level members. A lot of good stuff in there, especially if you're just trying to like level up your game, take it to the next level. I can give you some insight on that. Also, you tap a like, and let's get right into this. Now, I do say this pretty much every time I post now. You know, I've been playing for a couple decades. I don't have like one strategy. It's basically, you know, I understand everything, obviously, GTO, ABC, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you got to understand, man, like there's two things you got to do when you're playing, right? You got to understand you're playing against other people and you got to bluff. You got to stay unpredictable and you just got to make plays, man. That's what this comes down to. And you just got to make good decisions. So, in this one, I'd say I made some decent decisions. But like I said, man, if I feel like somebody's weak, I'm just going to go for it, you know, point blank. I'm not even going to think about it. It's just like, I think you're weak. You hesitated. I'm going to get you. You know, that's just how I do this, okay? How I do it, man. All right, anyways. All right, we got a 10-8 off here in the big. You know, normally I'm not going to defend with this unless it's suited. Let's take a look at the players at the table. Player 5 was doing pretty decent in this one. Everybody else is kind of like meh, you know. Probably the best way I could put it. Meh. All right, but we somehow took that one down with the 10-8. You know, whatever. All right, folding the 2-7 here. And really the hand that we got coming up later, it was an ace-king versus ace-queen spot. And there were some fireworks, okay? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give anything away. Not going to do that. All right, 9-3 off. Throwing this one out. Get that 9-3 off, man. Gotta let that go. Also, any questions, comments, things like that, feel free to message me. I'll get back to you guys. For sure. All right, nothing going there, and I think we're going to have our first playable hand coming up here. I did have some pocket pairs in this one. They were all kind of like low pocket pairs, which can be kind of tricky to play. For example, pocket fours. Now I'm going to open here. I've had this argument, actually, like, is it better to limp from first or second to act with small pocket pairs or open? I think it depends on the table. You know, you got to feel for how people are playing. You kind of just got to adjust that way. That's probably the best way I could put it and the best advice I can give you on that. Anyways, we're just going to call here. Flop was not exactly what we wanted to see. Player 2 doesn't necessarily have to have a jack. We know that. But I do expect him to continue here. And, you know, do we want to continue? I do. See if we can peel off that 4. Now, we didn't peel off the 4. We could be ahead here, though, if this guy's got some stuff like king-queen, ace-queen, ace-king. When he checked it real quick there, I did sense the weakness. So I did put a little something out there just to see what he would do, and no resistance whatsoever. So we took that one down easily. You know, he kind of just gave up on it. You know, river card was a 10. I don't know if I would have gone for it on the river. Maybe. It just depends, right? It's always situational. Now, I did fold the 4-3 suited because we're first to act. You know, if we were like on the button or the smaller big, I definitely would have done something with that. But because we were just like so early in this hand, you know, just let it go. Anyways. Now, the flop for this 4-3 suited was pretty outrageous, as you'll see. I couldn't believe it. But like I said, I wasn't going to play it. The other problem, too, is if I opened here, I would have been dealing with player 5 who probably would have re-raised us. And, 4-3 suited, it's not exactly like the strongest hand. But look at that flop. Are you kidding me? Up and down straight draw. We got the straight flush draw with this 4-3 suited. Like for real? Like that doesn't, does that just, I feel like that never happens right there. I mean, come on, man. That's just, what else can I say? That's just something right there. Anyways, let's see what that turn card would have been. Brutal. All right, we would have got there on the turn. I mean, got to imagine our hand would have been good too, because how often is somebody else holding a couple spades, right? Whatever, brushing it off. Pocket fives we got next. So we had pocket fours, now we got those fives in the clutch. Okay. Yeah, I mean, putting in a raise here. Can't really just let this limp, right? Now he's going to call. My plan here was to kind of continue even if we miss. We missed. Got none of this. We have no hearts. We have no draw. All we could do is continue and hopefully get a fold. He called us. Turn card was a 10. I did sense a little weakness here, though, so I kind of just went for it. I was 50-50 on this, but I figured why not. And yeah, the aggression worked out right there. So we got him off the hand, just repping something good, and he fell for it. River card wasn't good either. I'll take it though, whatever. All right, so we got Jack King this time. Could have used that one in the last hand, but it didn't really matter. We still took it down. Okay, so we did hit top pair here. We do have two other, we got player 1 and player 2 in this. All right, couple quick checks, and I picked up on that right away. So I'm going to continue here. Player 1 is going to call us. Player 2, he had the check fold on, so he's going to get off this for sure. Those are like the little things you pick up on, and I picked up on that right away. Turn card was an 8. Not sure if that helped him or not. I'm thinking maybe not. I could see some maybe like weird straight draws calling like Jack 9, Queen 9 type of stuff by player 1. I could see that a lot at the time. So I don't really think that changes anything for us. But I am going to actually check this back. River card was looking for like a deuce or a 3. It was a 10. I did not like that card at all. So he could have some 10s. If we go for value here, I don't know if it makes sense because it did feel like he was calling us with the draw. So he probably folds anyways. If we raise here and then he re-raises us, then we're in trouble because he's got a 10. I don't know. I kind of came to the conclusion of just checking, and he did have Jack 9. So he wasn't going to call anyways, and it's weird because I put him basically on what he was probably calling with, and that was just weird. It was like the sixth sense right there of just playing too much. All right, we got the ducks, man. Ducks in a pond right here, swimming around. You know how we do it. Okay, I mean, kind of just keeping the pattern going against player 2 here, and he seems to call us every time. So flop wasn't good, but I'm going to continue here and make it look like I got the ace, because why not? Okay, and he folded it. On to the next one. So we got an ace-8 suited here, looking pretty good. All right, so we didn't really get any of this. We got two other, dudes in the hand, so I'm just gonna check this over and like hopefully we get a heart on the turn or something, Or I'm sorry, I called here because it was so small, anyways. Over to player four. The reason I continued here because there's still a lot of good cards. We have straight draws possible still, flush draws. None of that got there. So now I'm just gonna, muck this one. If player one goes for it again, just gonna let it go. And he checked it. So maybe, I mean, really the only thing we could hope for here is like an ace or an eight on the river. I don't know if it'll be good. We could be up against a weak 10, but we got the ace, which was like the only thing I think that was going to help here. Now, player one's going to check, so I do feel like player one's probably not going to make this call. I'm going to put out a some small value here. Maybe we get somebody to call with the 10 here, possibly just any pair, or maybe even a weaker ace than ace 8, maybe like ace 5, ace 3, ace 6, ace 7, something like that. Player 4 did call here. Felt pretty good about having him. Back over to player 1, who was hoping he'd maybe call if he has like a pair of 10s here. I was thinking maybe it's possible, but he's going to fold it. We're going to take this one down, so kind of nice right there. So now we're trending up, and we're kind of getting closer to the big spot of this one. I put in a huge bluff here with this ace 7 suited. Get ready for this. And this kind of just comes back to what I'm talking about, man. Like, if I feel like somebody's weak, I'm going to make a play on them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but here we go again. All right, so if we get re-raised here, obviously I'm not folding this either. I'm going to make a call. All right, and we did get re-raised to the 45 piece. And believe me, I am not folding here. I'm making this call all day. Okay, not a good flop, but it might not be a good flop for player 5 either. I am looking for some diamonds on the turn. I would take like a 5 or a deuce so I could throw a bluff in there. The 5 is preferred because that would give us an up and down straight draw. To the 6 and the deuce, and then we'll have an 8 or an ace as a possibility as well, which would give us like 12 outs. And he continued pretty large. I don't know, I just wasn't exactly a believer. And check this out. So we are going to make a call here, and this was the card I was looking for, the 5. Okay, so it gives us an up and down straight draw, plus we could hit an ace. I let out here, going for the whole enchilada. And I'm putting player 5 in a tough spot here if he's got an overpair to this board, because why would I do this, right? I think it takes a lot to make this call. It really does. It looks so strong. Why would I bluff, right? And I got him off of it, so the play worked right there. I'm going to pat myself on the back, and yeah, man, making some good plays. And, now I think we're getting to, is this it right here? Let's see. Hope you're still with me, by the way. Okay, here it is, man. And of course, as I'm breaking this last one down, like I said, man, if you're trying to take things a little bit more seriously, or just, want some insight, pin comment, get in that community. I'm always playing. I've been doing this for so long. Don't always get it right, but the other thing too, man, I think this is kind of key. The emotional side of playing this game. If you need some insight on that too, I could definitely give it to you, man, because I've become numb to all of this. If I'm taking the W or the L, it doesn't really matter. I'm still going to continue playing the same way, and I just shut it off. And you got to do that, man. You got to be able to control your emotions doing this. Otherwise, you're just not going to get anywhere with it, So here we are. Player 1 is going to re-raise. Okay, player 6 open. Player 1's going to do a small re-raise, and then what do? We gotta figure out what we want to do here. Do we just call? Do we re-raise? That's kind of what we got to be thinking here. Now, player one could be doing this with a lot of like mid pocket pairs. I guess we could throw some ace queens or maybe some ace king or ace queen suited in the mix. We are blocking a couple of those things, so I guess we could rule out pocket aces a lot of the time. You still run into it every once in a while, but you know, I decided just to call, only because player six opened. Not sure what he's all about here. I was thinking he's probably going to call this, and then it's gonna, and then I'll have to make a decision. If player six like came over the top here, I'm just gonna let this go. But this is how this one played out. Flop was actually not bad. We got two overs to the board. We got the we got the straight draw to three. I kind of like our spot here, guys. I really do. Player one's going to continue. Now I'm expecting him to do this possibly semi bluff or mid over pairs, things like that. I just, I don't know. I just couldn't. Look at how small he went to. I just could not think of anything else to do at this point than this. And this is what I did, and it's the decision I went with. And I got to tell you what, man, player one, we have got to give credit where credit is due. This guy is going to call us with ace king, and we're going to be in a tough spot. Okay. Anyways, it is what it is, guys. This is what I did, man. Living with the decision, and if you made it to the end, man, tap that like and subscribe, and have mercy on my soul.